Hi, I'm Patrick.
And I'm Carmela.
That was smooth.
And we're the good news.
And it's time for the intro!
Welcome back to the October edition of the Good News, or the Spooky Special, which there's nothing really spooky or special about it, except for the fact that we're in costumes.
Not yet, we aren't.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Ready?
Mm-hmm. Why?
I like this.
Okay, we're not going to spend any more time on this. In fact, we're going to get through this episode as soon as possible, so instead of being a special long episode, it's going to be a special short as possible episode. Okay, with that being said, let's get into our first story. What is it, Carmela? Why don't you tell us what our next story is?
It's about a solar-powered band made by college students.
Great. Let's do it. Let's go. Are you good?
A team of 22 Dutch students invented a van that runs on solar power. They called the van Stella Vita, and they're using it to promote sustainable energy. Stella Vita generates energy through its solar panels on the roof and uses the energy for both driving and living, the student inventors explained. Stella Vita generates enough solar energy to drive, shower, watch TV, charge your laptop, and make coffee. You are completely self-sustaining and independent. Hereby, you are free to go wherever you want without harming the environment. The students say that their car can still produce 60 to 70% of the energy it needs on cloudy days, too.
Well, while we're on the topic of cars, long trips, and driving, why don't we talk about the next story, which we had to drive a long way to talk about because we actually did an interview.
With puppies.
Yeah, let's do it.
Sadly, there were no kittens. He couldn't feel at home.
There were kittens. October is National Adopt a Shelter Dog Month, and in honor of that, we visited a local dog shelter to talk to some dogs about how they feel about getting adopted.
Oh. Hello there, Mr. Diesel. I have a very important question. Who's a good boy? Oh!
Now, is the adoption process, is that like a one-day process, or does it happen over the course of a few days or weeks?
That's a great question. So it depends on if you're adopting, if you're renting, we need to check with the landlord to make sure that it's okay that you're adopting a dog. Certain places, they only want you to have 30-pound dogs or not certain breeds. The other thing we're going to check with is if you have existing animals in the home, we want to make sure that they're current on their vaccination, specifically rabies vaccination. That's the law, the New Hampshire law. But it also shows us you're a good pet owner if you're keeping them vaccinated, visiting the pet at least once a year, making sure that they're healthy.
Yeah. So
depending on those two things, if we can get hold of your landlord and your vet, then it can happen in a day. Some days it takes a few days. Especially with dogs like Dahlia, we would ask you to come back 2 or 3 times.
Sir, I have a very important question. How are your feelings about cats? What are you looking forward to about getting adopted? I heard you want an adult-only home. What do you think about that? What do you think about possibly getting adopted at some point? Oh, you're excited? Good.
As October comes to a close, it's important to remember that shelter dogs are always up for adoption, and that it's important to get these dogs into new homes. Well, we drove pretty far north for that story.
And now it's time to go even further north to Ontario, Canada. The founder of the Leadership Agency, a company out of Ontario, tested out a 4-day work week and says she will never go back to a regular work week. Jamie Savage, the CEO and founder of the company, noticed that employees were getting burnt out and she wanted to fix that. Savage said that her employees were still getting paid the same amount and were using the same time off to relax and to attend fitness classes and therapy. She says that, for her company, the benefit of the 4-day work week outweighs everything else in the end.
Well, now it's time to get to the spooky part of the episode, as if there wasn't anything more spooky than a maid. We're going to
the spookiest place on Earth.
That was cool. Which is spookily located in Transylvania, for the spooky weather segment.
Hello, it's time for Transylvania Weather. As you can see, I am currently flying around the screen. Spooky, yes. Okay, on Sunday it's going to be a high of 50 and a low of 32. Monday a high of 53, low of 27. Tuesday a high of 54 and a low of 29. Wednesday a high of 51, low of 30. Thursday a high of 51, low of 56. Friday a high of 56, low of 31. And Saturday a high of 57 and a low of 35. Patrick made these things yellow so you know it's sunny. And on Sunday and Wednesday there are going to be some clouds. And this is the radar. No, it didn't mess up, and it's just a still image. That's the radar. Yeah, not a lot of weather happens in that area, so yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys back at the table. Bye-bye. Now it's time to talk about something even spookier. Endangered species, starting with Patrick.
It's not spooky. That's lovely. We're gonna do endangered species stories.
I should be
And
included on that list, honestly.
I'm gonna do yeah, you're about to be endangered as soon as we're done with this episode. So
I have soda.
I'm going to speed run through a bunch of endangered species stories because I found a lot of them.
And he likes them.
That's kind of my specialty. Speed run time. An endangered Arabian Leopard Cub has just been born into Saudi Arabia, raising hopes for the species' survival. There are only 200 left in the wild, so this newborn cub has conservationists excited. The humpback chub, a fish native to exclusively the Colorado River Basin, has not just been brought back from the brink of extinction, but has also been removed from the endangered species list after years of conservation efforts. An endangered Colombus monkey has just given birth at the Hogel Zoo in Salt Lake City. The zoo said in a statement that the other females in the species have taken up caring for the child. Endangered gray bats used to nest in the cracks and crevices of an old bridge in Kentucky. When it was repaired, the bats were left without a home, so construction crews added new habitats to the bridge, which are now home to over 1,000 bats. The National Zoo welcomed twin baby golden-head lion tamarins for the first time in 16 years earlier this month. Scientists believe that there are only about 600 of these Brazil native species left in the wild, so this is a good start to restoring the species.
Now it's time to get into our next spooky story about gay Dutch people. More specifically, gay royals. It's not that spooky, but yay, gays. In Amsterdam, the first country to legalize gay marriage, an heir can now marry someone of the same gender without forfeiting their right to the crown. The current princess, Katarina Amalia, who is 17, has not yet commented on the matter, and likes to keep her personal life out of the public eye, so it's not currently known if this judgment was made with her in mind as of yet. Either way, I think the Dutch seem to have this people love who they love thing figured out, even if it took 20 years for the royals to have that same privilege. Now, it's time to show how we made these amazing costumes.
Yep, and we're gonna sprinkle some bloopers in to that to make it more fun and exciting because there's a lot of bloopers for this episode and we're only less than halfway through recording.
Yeah.
Fun times.
There's gonna be a lot more of me than Patrick because I used a sewing machine. Hello. As you are probably aware by now, Patrick and I made each other costumes for Halloween, and what you're seeing right now is a process of making those.
Okay. Next one is about a knife.
A knife?
Yes, a
This
knife.
story?
Yep.
Okay. That makes sense
A
as to why.
knife found under Parliament.
Oh, I saw that one on Reddit. Shh. Okay, so first things first. I don't think I intended on going in the order I got these things in, but I think I am. I have two skirts. I have a black one and a white one. And okay, I don't really have any reference pictures, but you guys see what I'm going for, right? So yeah, I'm gonna do that. I have little cat ears that came with a tail, which is a bit more burning bag, but yeah, little cat ears. And I got this little thingy that's like kind of like a leotard. It has a little button thingy at the bottom to go underneath. This is definitely more for girls because they don't have a thing between their legs. But yeah, I'm gonna have them wear this because it's just like a nice solid black thing. And yeah, I'm gonna put some lace on it, which I'm gonna take out in a second. I'm gonna actually keep some of that. Here is the tail, and there's a little strap that you can put around your waist to keep that on. I'm thinking I'm gonna put it in between the two skirts, so you can actually see it. Because you put it under both skirts, it's gonna just like hit his legs. If you put it over the two skirts, that's just not how anatomy works. Okay, what else in here? Got little aprons. They came in a 3-pack, and yeah, they came in a 3-pack, and I'm gonna put some lace on them, which I have right here. There's more lacy options, but this is more what I think of when I think of maid costumes and stuff like that. I got some white thread because I'm not sure if we have any in the sewing machine. And I got some ribbon in case this is hard to run through the sewing machine. There's this trick where you can like double it over and it makes it easier to fit through the machine. And I also got some icebreakers. But yeah, the only real modifications I think I'm gonna need to do is put lace on the apron and on the little neck piece of the shirt and maybe the arms. Maybe something on the shoulders, I'm not quite sure yet, but yeah, I'm going to put that on and I will see you guys in a second. Ready?
Great.
Okay, so I put stuff on, and here it is. I folded this bit up because it's a bit too low. I can't really put it on one hand, so give me a second. So I'm thinking of maybe cutting it off or sewing it like this. I like the way the skirt looks. It's all poofy. Tail's a bit low, but that's fine. I'm gonna find a way to get this ear to behave. But yeah, the only real modifications I think I'm gonna make to it are the thing with the apron, adding some lace around the apron, some lace around the collar, and maybe something on the wrists. I'm not entirely sure about that yet. And I'm gonna have Patrick wear black pants, tight black pants, because I didn't want to buy tights for him.
This really accentuates my muscular build.
Are you happy with that?
Oh.
So I've made a discovery about the lace I bought. After going around, not even the entire thing, just the front, I have this much left. So, yeah. I don't think this was supposed to be, yeah, it was supposed to be 3 feet.
Well, I'm sure happy that that artifact ended up in the hands of the people who originally owned it. Did you have something you wanted to say?
I'm tired.
Okay.
I'm very tired. Can you tell? I'm very
Be quiet.
Okay, so that's done. Got this. I wanted to put some on the wrist, but I don't think I'm gonna have enough. So. Actually, I may. I'm gonna see if I can cut this in half and wrap it around the wrists of this thing and see if it fits. If I can, well, either way I'll be back, but if I can, I'm gonna do that with the pins and then we'll be back. Okay, bye-bye.
Listen, we shoehorn in so many of these transitions, I'm surprised we don't have one as a prop.
Okay, yeah, whatever.
Do you know what a shoehorn is?
Yes, I know what a
Okay,
shoehorn
I'm
is.
just checking.
I use them to put on my sandals. Okay, I got you.
Do you actually know what a shoehorn is?
Yes, I do!
Okay.
That was a joke, because you can't use a shoehorn to put on sandals. It's impossible.
Okay, I have pinned the outside of these, and it looks like I'm trying to torture somebody. Yeah, so now I'm going to use the sewing machine, I'm going to sew these around. I have like 40 minutes until I have to be somewhere else, so speed round. Okay, this is done. I tied it up a little bit high for where the lace sits with in the back with the apron, but if I undo it, now it just seems to be that, well, I don't know, it'll probably sit in a different place on Patrick. Yeah. And I actually like the way that the stuff on the wrists turned out, even if it is a form of it. It had a bit of an accident when I was cutting that one. Yeah.
Well, a few stories ago, we had a story about royals, and what pairs better with royals than Parliament?
Knives.
Excuse me? An ancient indigenous artifact was found during renovations of Center Block. The knife, originating from the Algonquin people, will be the first artifact on Parliament Hill to be returned to the people of origin. The knife is estimated to be almost 4,000 years old, and will be displayed throughout indigenous schools and communities. Well, I certainly am happy that that artifact ended up in the hands of the people who originally owned it, and not a museum.
And not in the ocean, like the plastic we're about to talk about.
That was so shoehorned, you realize that, right?
Before we go into the story, I need to take you all back in time nearly a decade. Lots of things happened back then, but all we are concerned about right now is an 18-year-old boy in Slat who's just announced he has a plan to rid the ocean of plastic. Now, the 27-year-old Dutch inventor is the founder of a non-profit which aims to get rid of 90% of the plastic in our planet's oceans by the year 2040. In 2018, they launched their first device, which broke in the water. Then, 1 year later, they released another model, which was better at collecting plastic, but hundreds would still be needed in order to meet their goal. After this, skeptics began to wonder about whether or not they'd be able to deliver on the promise that got them tens of millions of dollars in funding, but over the summer, they began work on a new device. They named it Jenny. Jenny is a form of artificial floating coastline that catches garbage and funnels it into 2 giant nets. 2 ships tow it along at 1.5 knots, which is slower than your walking speed. Early in August, they released Jenny into the waters of the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, which is the largest accumulation of ocean garbage at an estimated 1.8 trillion pieces. At the beginning of this month, Jenny faced their final trial and managed to haul nearly 20,000 pounds of trash out of the Pacific Ocean, making the organization's goal seem a little bit less like a pipe dream and more like an eventual reality.
Now, I'm pretty sure these cooking segments have devolved from us showing you how to make a recipe to us basically attempting to make a recipe we found online, and the entertaining bit is how poorly we do.
Okay, no. These ones actually turned out pretty well. You just haven't seen that yet because you abandoned me.
Yeah, okay. Well,
These actually turned out pretty well in the end. Stick
Yeah.
around till the end of this cooking segment, please.
Mhm.
Okay, so we have we're making candy corn fudge, by the way. We have sweetened condensed milk. We need 3/4 cup of that. So we have the measuring thing, which is a half cup, because I don't want to get a bunch of measuring cups dirty. We have a can opener to open it. We have my phone for the recipe because I'm very tired right now and I've already forgotten it. We have a total of 12 ounces of white chocolate. The recipe said fancy chocolate. We have food coloring. We needed yellow and orange, but the store only had orange, so we're gonna have some fun with that later. We have tin foil and cooking spray, specifically Pam. It didn't say Pam, it's just baking spray, and a loaf pan. We also have 3 bowls and 3 different spoons because we gotta do things. So first thing, we have to line the pan and spray the pan in that order. So yeah. Now, because this is so jaggedy from the foil, we are going to square this off once we eventually get it out of the pan, which Patrick is not going to be here for because it is currently almost 8 p.m. and we like sleep. Okay, so we have foiled the thing. Now we spray the thing. I'm going to do it over the sink. I will be back after I put it in the sink and spray it. We have sprayed the pan. Now it screws off for a bit. We have a bowl. Into the bowl, we're gonna put all the chocolate, and Patrick may help me. All the chocolate is in the bowl. Now, Patrick ate some, so we're gonna put in slightly less sweet condensed milk than we actually need for the recipe. And the recipe says to put in 3/4 of a cup. I said that earlier. I don't know why I forgot about that. So I'm gonna put in 3/4 of a cup. So I'm gonna put this into the microwave for like 15-ish seconds at a time and keep mixing until all the chocolate's melted. And yeah, we are back. What we're going to do now is separate it into 3 bowls. Half of it needs to go into this bowl, and then half of what's in here needs to go into that bowl. Now, one of the quarters needs to be yellow. We only have orange, so we're gonna put in a tiny bit of orange and see if it becomes too orange, because if it becomes too orange, we're combining both the quarters and then dividing up the half again. Okay, yellow goes in first. Or in our case, lighter orange. This recipe called for a smaller pan. We just don't have a smaller pan. Bless you.
Thank you.
So we're just gonna spread this out super thin. This is gonna go in the fridge for a couple minutes. Put it in the fridge.
Yes.
I'm back. Here are our 2 fudges. This one, you may not have seen us making it. It is a spooky fudge that has the 3 Halloween colors. Look at that, Halloween colors. Now, I for one didn't really like the idea
this when we started thinking about it, so I'm not gonna try to put too much effort into cutting this. Look at that. And there you have a tiny candy corn. Look at that. And if you didn't know what a candy corn was, you might be tricked into thinking it was one. Look at that. That is how you make the candy corn thingies. They taste good. They look terrible. Don't ever follow what we do.
Okay, so, in my defense, I was in a big rush. I finished her costume with 20 minutes left to get somewhere, and I still turned up a bit late, and also I was very tired.
Yeah.
They
so
turned
the
out
footage-
well despite how terrible it looked on the camera.
Yeah, that's just because you don't know how to use a camera.
I know how to
You
use
don't
a
have the
camera. I don't know
professional
how to use
skills
a
of
camera
me.
when I'm tired.
Anyway, our next story is about 2 lives that were saved at once. Let's get into it. A pregnant woman with pulmonary hypertension was being sustained on specialized life support in a hospital in Canada, awaiting a lung transplant. The catch was that the doctors could not perform the procedure until she had given birth. The baby had to be delivered prematurely for both of them to survive, and the doctors say that it was a world's first, as they were able to perform both procedures successfully.
That was nice, but you know what's cuter than human children?
What kind of children?
Doggy children!
Heck yes.
Also known as puppies.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into that.
Puppies!
Her speed run time, actually.
Yeah.
I did Endangered Species and she's doing puppies.
Puppies! Late in September, firefighters rescued a 16-month-old mastiff puppy. The treatment for the dog would be very expensive, and the owner opted to euthanize the dog instead. But one of the firefighters, Malcolm Courtner, instead took custody of the dog, including the expenses that he knew would come with it, and said dog is now happy and healthy. Neil Powell recently proved that dogs can smell an odor that is associated with seizures around 15 minutes in advance, giving their owners a warning that could save their lives. A couple in the Spanish countryside was driving when they noticed a small dog chasing them. What was originally thought to be the dog playing quickly became recognized as a cry for help. Unable to find the owner, the dog now has a new, loving home. An engineer made skis for their dog's wheelchair so they can enjoy the snow like they used to do before they lost the use of their hind legs. Dogs trapped by volcano in Spain. Drones drop net and help. Yay.
I'm tired, you're tired.
Yeah.
We're all tired here. You know who else was tired? This
Yeah.
elk in the next story who got a tire stuck around his neck. He was tired of it. Ha! I'm so tired. Yeah, so this next story is about how he got that on. Or not how he got it on, how he got it off. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to frighten you. Are you okay? This elk was seen wandering Colorado for 2 years with a tire around its neck. While the tire did not limit the elk's circulation, it did give it restricted mobility, making it an easy target for predators. It is still a mystery as to how the animal ended up with a tire around its neck, but after several attempts to tranquilize and free the animal, officials were successful, and the elk is now tire-free. And sadly, our Halloween special that wasn't so special except for the fact that it was spooky must come to a close.
Wait, already?
Yep.
You really sped this along really fast.
Yes, because I'm in a maid outfit. It's all about efficiency.
Good kitty.
Shut up. And that is all for today's episode. Thank you so much for watching.
My head hurts.
Oh yeah, because I whacked her on the head with caddy. Oh, yeah, I'm still wearing them. I was looking on the ground for them. Okay, anyway, so thank you guys so much for watching. A special thanks to STA Parish one final time for providing us this wonderful space. It's been a pleasure.
And there's also a thank you to our parents for food and for letting us destroy my kitchen.
Yes, quite
I'm
so.
sorry.
And that's just about it. We hope you enjoyed the spooky episode. Tell us what you thought, because we're thinking about doing one for Christmas as well. Stay tuned for that. We were. I haven't told you yet. Surprise! Yep. So thank you so much for watching. Tune in next time. Adios.
Bye-bye.
It's so hard to maneuver in this